Hello, and welcome to Mike, DJ, and Doc, the show that plants seeds for cultivating new culture.
Does music play a part in guiding our lives? And on top of that, we have a very special guest from the Chicagoland footwork music world, none other than my sister, DJ Qnique from Chicago 77.3 Internet Radio, y'all. Hey, Qnique, what up, sis?
Hey, bro, how you doing? It's
Man,
good to be.
It's good to have you. I'm so excited that you're here with us.
Thank you so much. Really interested in the discussion today, and I'm glad to meet everybody. Again, thank y'all for having me. This should be interesting.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yes.
And Doc, how you feel?
Hey, all is well today. Hey, just excited about today's podcast and the subject topic. And just looking forward to it today. What about yourself?
Man, I'm good, man. You know, I got about
great.
a good 6 hours of sleep. You know what I'm saying? That's good
Okay.
for a 41-year-old man.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, took the kids to school. But, man, check it out, y'all. It's a double special day today because I also want to introduce to our listeners the mysterious man behind the scenes, our very own Clarence Avant. We got Michael Alexander, otherwise known as Mike on the show. Y'all give it up.
Hello, everyone.
Yes.
I'm glad to be added to the conversations. I was happy just working behind the scenes, doing things. But now, like I said, I'm just glad to be a part, come to the table. Looking forward to it.
Yes.
Man,
Yes.
right on. We're glad to have you, man. That's on the real.
Yes.
But before we get into our topic, man, I want to give my recollection of where footwork dances began. So, yo, DJ Qnique, at any time, please feel free to chime in, all right?
Will do.
Man, appreciate it. So, footwork, Chicago footwork is about 40 years old. It started around the era of when house music began, back in the 80s.
That's definitely true. Yes. Yes, definitely in the 80s. I wasn't even old enough to really know what it was, but yeah.
Yeah, for those of y'all who might remember who lived or even visited around that time, the Chicagoland area, there used to be a show called WBMX, which had the what was called the Hot Mix 5. You had Farley Jackmaster
Yes.
Funk, Mickey Mixon Oliver, Steve Smoking Seals. Who am I forgetting, sis? I'm forgetting the other two. Kenny Jam and Jason. I gotta brush up on my house history. But
You and me both. Like, I mean, it's deep. Like it's it's as old as me. So it's a lot of stuff I still don't know. You know, like that. It has its roots in Chicago. From what I was told, the sound came from New York and came to Chicago as far as the house sound, and then it developed in Chicago.
That's right.
Into what we know as the Chicago Warehouse. So that I do know.
That's right. I'm glad you said that because I skipped over that part. Frankie Knuckles from New York came to Chicago, was at the Warehouse, the club in Chicago, and developed it there.
Wow.
So it was kind of a birth between two cities.
Man,
Yes.
that's amazing because now it's worldwide.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
And it's worldwide, and it has this like its house, and then there's its own umbrella of everything that's under that. So you got progressive house, you know, Afro, and it's vast all the way to people don't even understand that the electronic dance music comes out of that. Things like if you listen, like dubstep and the hard house, the acid, stuff like that come from techno.
Yep.
Techno come from house, which came out of Chicago, out of Detroit. So it's all tied in, and it definitely is worldwide. So footwork, juke, footwork, ghetto house is like that last bit of that house umbrella, that real deep sound, or that sound that we know in Chicago, as they call it, the bastard children of the sound.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But the bastard children are doing big things.
Big thing. The ones they did not look after and take care of are the ones that's doing it. So hey,
yeah, for real.
It has that title to it, but there's like there's still a goodness out of that. Like there's two sides to a person, who they were before and who they become. And Footwork, Juke Footwork, Ghetto House is like the transition from Ghetto House into Juke into Footwork is like what it was and what it became and where it's going.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. Because, well, first off, I want to give people an awareness. So you guys listening, go ahead and Google this. Dancing with the Stars. This last, most current victor, Iman Shumpert from, I forgot which sports team. I don't even know. That's y'all's area, Mike and Doc. But I forgot which team. But I do know he's a homeboy from the Chicagoland area, from Oak Park.
Yes.
And he had won the competition with a Chicago footwork routine.
Wow.
Sure did. With the bounce track by DJ Clint and Magic Mike.
Yeah. Yeah. Shouts out to Beat Down House.
Yes.
Oh,
shout out to Beat Down. Like that was the track that won it for them on there. Because I'm watching, like, I'm not a TV watcher because I'm in media. I don't know, that's a whole nother story, but I was told about it. I'm like, okay, let me watch this, and I ain't getting it.
Wow.
I'm going with the two. Like, yes, Chicago winning all over it. You know,
that lets us know one thing though. It's getting into the mainstream now. It's not just something that's underground and other places. It's getting into the mainstream where it's crossing over.
Well, I mean, yeah, and people have tried to take it in that direction, the mainstream, but it's that hardcore underground that it's like anybody can't just get in. Like they've tried.
I see. All right,
but it's one of those things where it's like it's definitely a hometown thing, and if outsiders do get in, you've done your homework. You study, you listen, you know that it's not just something we do to be doing. It's something that we do because each one of us have attested that the sound has changed our lives. It saved our lives.
I see. Okay.
You know, the 80s and the 90s was rough. So the music saved a lot of us.
Hey, y'all, guess what? You can learn how to do Chicago footwork and help a food pantry at our fundraiser event, We'll Work for Food, July 29th from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Chicago time. Participation is virtual, but the first 40 people to register and donate $10 or more can participate in person. Go to www.nhbwjoliet.com for more info. It's in a safe place with positive people and good atmosphere. Plus, we're going to party and play some dance games. Even if you already know how to footwork, you can come and vibe out with us. So come through and have a good time at We'll Work for Food, sponsored by Darcy Motors, Creative Network, and Jones Corner Store.
Footwork.
We'll Work for Food. Sister by the name
We'll Work for Food.
Deshaun Battle. Just got to give her props because what DJ QNeek just touched on is they have a whole documentary on that of different dancers in Chicago who actually have real experiences where them dancing kept them out of jail, kept them from getting beat up, and kept them from getting killed.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming out. She's still putting it together. So, yeah. Wow. But interesting thing too, sis, is when you was talking about how, you know, it started off, you know, with house and then it kind of merged to footwork and then it kind of goes back. So I don't know if you got to see the show. I've been looking for it, but I had a conversation with King Charles one day, right? And everybody knows who that guy is. He's one of the main ambassadors of footwork. So he's been about all over the world.
Yes.
And
with TFology. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. And in that conversation, he was telling me about when one of his friends was having a conversation with the brother named Bo. I don't remember what group it was, but he was saying in this conversation, because his homeboy J-Ron, they do interviews too. with the show called Behind the Name. And
Mhm.
Bo was the one who first started the Holy Ghost, the dance. If I'm messing this up, please let me know, because I might be mixing up the wrong name.
Big on me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We come to who started what? I'm like this. Because I wasn't there. For me, like I said, everybody got their own story. And for me, it was different. I grew up around people that didn't even was into footwork. The most of the people that I knew that was into the footwork was the thugs. And they were dancing.
Yeah.
And I wasn't trying to hang around them because I already lived in this environment. I don't want to be this. I'm separating myself. So this is where footwork, and I'm telling my story so that you understand. I can't verify, confirm, or deny who did what or this or that because I wasn't even in there. I was too busy surviving, living in Chicago. As a young woman, as first a little girl, as a young woman, teenager, and then a woman, like this sound kept me from being a statistic in my own environment.
I see.
So that's what I could tell you as far as who started what dance, who made what track, unless I'm friends with these people and I talk to them and I get their versions of these stories. Q don't know nothing but
I see.
Yeah, I'm gonna find that clip, but I'm gonna finish up what he was saying was that it was one day, I don't know, it was at a party or it was outside, a block party. He just started doing these moves no one's done before, and it was cold. People was like, "Man, what was that? Like, what was you doing?" He was like, "I don't know." Like, it was like, "What made you want to do that?" He was like, "Man," he just said, "God." So because of that, because he said that's what was on his mind. So, and this way back years before footwork is where it is now. So he called the move Holy Ghost. And I believe, I don't want to mix it up, but I believe it was on the west side first when this happened.
The west side did start to dance.
And that move, yeah. And that move particularly, the Holy Ghost, they shortened it and just nicknamed it Ghost. And from there, go. Come on, cute Neek.
I'm trying.
Y'all, she breaking it down right now. She up there chair footworking. Chair ghosting and percolating. I see you now. Come on with that House of Maddox head roll. I saw that.
That's how they start. That goes.
Man. Yeah. But
wow.
So they was calling it Ghost. And that was like the move that everybody started doing and built more footwork up off of that. But then we got to the south side of Chicago where it really grew because the south side is bigger. It is predominantly black. There's a lot more of us there. But over time, it's like they forgot about the part of where it really came from, that it was inspired by God. And it kind of went into ghetto house after house where like the message in the music,
the message in the music was definitely for the time. I'm going to tell you like this. This is why I say from where I was before and where I am now. The messages in ghetto house, now it's like, oh, you playing that? Like that? That's a cold song. Yeah. Now it's like, I don't know if I want to play that, because it's some very raunchy lyrics in those songs, You giving direct messages of, things that grown folks do, basically. So
there you go.
Now it's like, now in my life, if I play that would be for like a dope party, serious dope party with people who like to listen to that sound. But ghetto house was things that was happening in the 90s was not cool. Like, I'm gonna say this. I hope it doesn't, turn things differently. But women were being violated in ways that wasn't cool. You know what I'm saying? And granted, some of the music, most of the music is good. However, a lot of the lyrics basically tell you what was happening. Because of where we are with this conversation, I don't want to dig too deep into that, but Ghetto house, just like gangster rap, just like hip hop, it told a story of what was happening at that time with the people that was listening, and people were basically sexual, like over sexualized at that time. You know, it's not to talk down about it because it's what got us to where we are now, but it was very over sexualized music that it's only for adult parties. Kids shouldn't be listening to it. We was kids listening to these lyrics. Like, yeah.
Yeah, you're right on that. And to see that then through Juke and now with Footwork, the lyrics to me, out of the tracks I hear, they're not as raunchy as it was with Ghetto House.
I agree with you. Like there has been a definite change. Like some people don't even use lyrics.
Yeah.
They just create the sound. And then those that do use lyrics, again, it's about, you know, what they're doing. So some people, you know, they smoke weed, so they got the blowing on the endos, EQIs, and we blow trees with chives. But then you got they not using lyrics at all, just us dancing.
Yeah, that's interesting you bringing that point up, because that would be one of the questions I would want to know about, because everything always is evolving into something next level or new direction or something like that. And what we were hoping to be part of this podcast is eventually introducing that kind of music to different audiences of everywhere. Now, I know you just said that everybody mainstream is not probably going to be your audience, but do you think it can ever be used in a way to enlighten? Because, like you said, we're talking about, does music play a part in guiding our lives? So do you think that would be something that will evolve from ghetto to maybe to another level, to inspiration?
It's happening now.
Okay.
It's happening now. And I say that because of the journey of where I am now. I turned 40 in September. 2 weeks after I turned 40, I attended New Life Church with Pastor Hannah.
Okay.
Shout out to our because he put me on that. And maybe like a month or so after that, I joined the church. I haven't stopped going since.
Amen.
And have even started doing Bible study with my aunt every Wednesday since the beginning of this month. So when I say that it's already happening, I look at it because there's a shift happening right now with Footwork. We have the pioneers are now the mentors, you know, and then there's people like the new kids are coming in. DJ Clint, shout out to DJ Corey. He's the next in line. And then there's DJ Rashad's son, Chad. He's next in line. And there's DJ Mario. He's next in line. I myself being one of, like that at this point in this generation, there's no other women doing it other than Generation J. So now I'm ushering in a new, and the way I feel is just like Cornerstone said, the dance, the feel of the dance and the music has a direct feeling of it is God-given. It comes from God. The sounds make you move and animate in ways you wouldn't do with just regular music. So after it went through what it went through in Ghetto House, that's my line, I'm sorry. After it went through what it went through in Ghetto House, telling a story of people that were broken down and in poverty and over-sexualized, and we missing our parents, we raising ourselves. And then it goes into Juke, where it's predominantly created to dance, still in somewhat of a sexualized way, but mostly they say they kick their legs. This is when they start actually doing the footwork moves. And then you notice that these moves are associated with moves that come from the motherland. People that dance spiritual, you know, to their guys, and they try. So now, and then it goes over into footwork. The lyrics do get a little better, but people are doing more dancing, and they dancing from here. It's from the heart. Like, it's kind of hard to not say that God isn't in that particular type of music, but it's also to say that it does matter what you put in the music that helps drive the people. Because to me, after going through what I went through and turning my life back to God, the road that I'm taking seems more clear and it's been more abundant.
Right on.
All right.
Wow.
Hey, well, y'all, I think this is a good time for us to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more of DJ Qnique joining us on the Mike, DJ, and Doc Show.
What's up? It's your girl, DJ Qnique from Chicago 77.3 Internet Radio, and you are listening to the Mike, DJ, and Doc Show.
All right, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back. So we just spoke on some of the history of house music leading up to the transitions to footwork, but now we're about to get a little bit deep. Come on now, you need to get your fishing boots on for this one, because we about to dig. Get them high knee rubber boots on. Yeah. So, hey, to any of y'all, this question goes to anybody who wants to answer. Do you think music plays a part in guiding our lives?
Yes. That is I would say that's a no-brainer, but it is yes. And I was saving this. Oh, I'm ready. Music theory. When they took the arts out of the school, it really damaged us because they didn't teach about theory in music. Tone, color, and sound. Angelic and demonic tones exist. There's when music started as secular. Like, there was mostly like chants and humming and praying, because we've been here forever. So it's a way of speaking in language and started with different hums and chants. With this now way music transitioned, it transitioned into secular music for the church. There were tones that could not be played. Like and at this point, this is when the Catholic Church took over. Certain sounds couldn't be played because they were deemed angelic and demonic. So you have different sounds at different frequencies also make the body. Like, I think there's, what was it? I don't want to get it wrong, but I think it was either 140 hertz or 40. But I believe it was 140. That particular type of music brings out anxiety in people. And the way it was tested was there were two songs played at two different frequencies. One was played at the anxiety frequency and one was played at the higher frequency of feeling. Now, I just did this for myself. Other people have picked which one made them feel better, and more people felt worse listening to the one that made them have the anxiety, I myself included. So the harmony in the keys, the melodies that are played, the rhythms that are used, the colors and the tones that are used for each individual song does and can affect how we interact. And that's even without words. Now, once you add the words, it makes it worse because now it's like it's a chant. It's now like becoming a prayer, becoming a chant. We'll take drill music, for instance. The mayor of New York wants to remove drill music off of the radio because he feels that it's pushing the crime in his city. Well, if you're not a listener of it, I would say like research and listen to a song and listen to the not just the words. Like, I'm one of those people who I can separate the words from the song. Try to separate the words and just listen to the music alone first. It gives the body a feeling in which it before it's even telling you to do something, it's making you feel like you want to do something. You get that? Like most people say that they listen to it to go to the gym. It gives them that energy and that rush and that charge that they need to go harder and go faster. And, it puts that aggression in them to want to move like that versus jazz music. It's a totally different realm. And you think about listening to jazz music, it gives a calming sense of being. You want to chill, you want to enjoy the mood, or you're, having a good conversation. It doesn't make you feel aggressive if you want to fight or just go that hard to do. So with this, it is important to understand that God is in the music, but you have to really listen to where it is. And if you listen to different types of music, you'll realize that the tones and the color do play a role in how it makes people feel.
That's a good point. Could you
Yes, it is.
help me with my understanding a little bit? Because I'm not really a musician myself. And the thing about it is, I was watching that documentary with Quincy Jones. Now, everybody here familiar with Quincy Jones.
Yes.
The Q. And he's been around a long time. And one thing that I caught out of that documentary is when he was in the States, it was tough for him over here. But when he went to France and he was learning how to do the opera, directing orchestra and all those different things, the teacher said something to him. It was the mentor or whoever the lady was. I can't recall her name. But she told Q that, guess what? It's only 12 notes. It's only 12 notes. You can arrange them any way you want to make whatever sound you want. So when I heard that, I started thinking, when you mentioned earlier about the secular world and church world and different worlds like that, if we all have the same 12 notes, you know what I'm saying? Whether we use the sound that was created outside of the church or did it start in the church, where is the maybe the original sound come from? Because it's back and forth if we look down through time. And then sometimes you have songs like that are coming to, like Kirk Franklin, for instance. A lot of songs he's using where they went back and they grabbed like some R&B tracks from back in the day, the 70s, 80s, or whatever. And he's changing the lyrics up to them, different things. Are there evil to bring that music into the church? Because still the same 12 notes. It's the message, I think, in that situation.
And in that aspect, that's true. It's definitely the message. But I wanted to say something about that. If Kirk Franklin is doing that, where it matters, like I say, it's definitely you want the message, but where it matters too is what he's using. If he's using a throwback song that more than likely has some bad connotations to it, lyric wise, but it was sound wise good, I would believe it's the message. But if it was a song that had a bad sound to it along with the bad lyrics, I would question that, because the music does have the same 12 notes, but then what they don't tell you is that there's the notes that's in between, the sharps and the flats. Those are the ones that pull out the angelic and demonic, because I think the sharps are it's a small little B next to a note, and the sharp is the hashtag, the hashtag sign for music readers. So those particular sounds, those are the ones that play the role in altering the music. How a C note could sound like a regular C note, but it'll sound different if you combine it with a sharp or a flat.
I see. Yeah, I can dig that. And just to share my experience, I'm gonna say two things. I can remember since back in high school days, for one, you had No Limit and you had 3 6 Mafia. And I remember going to the parties or the club, and even before the words kicked in, As soon as you heard doom 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 doom, everybody just started. And after about 2 minutes in, people's pushing. And about 3 minutes in, people fighting.
Exactly.
Exactly. Wow.
And you know, it's funny that you mentioned those two because to me, those are a perfect example of okay, it's all Southern rap, and to me, you know, no one is better than the next. But this is a great example in me trying to explain angelic and a demonic tone. 3 6 Mafia was all into devil worship. They let you know that. And then when you listen to the music, it sounds very dark. The No Limit,
wow,
made their music, and it was more upbeat. People was doing their little shove or whatever, but most people came together when No Limit song came on. We was all No Limit soldiers then, like you know,
with gold teeth and everything.
Man, I got my high school shirt. Somebody drew a No Limit tank on it. The shirt is like 24 years old, and I still be laughing at it. But when it was No Limit, from what I remember, people were unified behind that. You know, like I didn't really know too many people that were fights breaking out. So when it came to that, but when it came to 3 6 Mafia, oh, it was fights breaking out and everything. And you know, they had one song. I hear it in my head right now. And it sounds like a double song. That drink will make you think. Now, how do I know this? Because my husband and his sister, rest her soul, used to have radio wars. And this is what they would play. 3 6 Mafia songs back and forth with each other. And I would ask them, like, do y'all really know what y'all listening to? Because it just sounds like some devil music. Like, it didn't make me feel good. And then I'm looking at how they act when they got it on and they dancing. And, you know, it's the looks of sadness and depression. And I'm like, something is wrong with this, you know? So those two groups, like I said, I'm glad you mentioned that because that's a perfect example for me that let me know like the 3 6 Mafia wasn't necessarily like there are things I heard I like, you know, but I'm like I can't really listen to this or play it because it's giving off a vibe that's telling people to do stuff to harm themselves.
Yeah. And then when you said about the keys, the frequencies, you know what I thought about is when you watch certain movies and it seems like something's about to get intense, you get that weird sound, especially horror movies. It's got that sound where they're playing the black key that's right next to the white keys. You know, it's like it sounds better when the keys have a space in between them. And, like if you do C, let me get it right. I ain't a pianist, but what is it? CD. It plays C and A. You know, but if you play B and C, it ain't gonna sound.
It ain't gonna sound right, yeah.
Yeah, because it's right next to each other. But yeah, and it
but
gives you
it's
that.
like that in movies too. And and everything that you encounter that has sound, even when I DJ, it's set up in that way for you to hear it. And when people play these keys, and they can get your body to feel a certain way when you're watching a horror movie versus a rom-com or a comedy. It's set in that way. They manipulate the sound in that way to get that feeling out of you. Because you can get that feeling out of you without even watching the movie. You just hear the sound. Think about it.
Right. You're right. Ooh,
you play that sound and you just like it's you. I hear it now. I hear one playing right now. Ain't no music going on, but the way a musician thinks, we hear everything all day, even when nothing's playing, we hear. So when we just spoke about that and being a horror movie, I just heard horror and I got an eerie feeling over me with that. So it does that plays a role. They do it to manipulate your feeling.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yes.
Yeah, then thinking back to where we talked about the words, I'm gonna go back to what you said about Kirk Franklin. to kind of give break it down even further. So say, for instance, Kirk Franklin, he tends to, take music, old funk songs and disco songs and R&B songs, but they are like songs that have a good feel, a good message from back in the day. But now if Kirk Franklin were to take Iron Butterfly or Puff the Magic Dragon, take the music from that and put gospel words to it. Now there's people from back in the day that probably used to smoke real good that was probably like, like they were like, look, I'm trying to be different. I'm trying to have a different life. I'm going to church.
So they're not trying to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, for one, if Kirk Franklin is a good leader, he would not use that song. So, like,
right.
That's a definite.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you on that one. You have people that have overcome some things that there are sounds that would trigger songs that would trigger a memory or a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I have songs that just play that trigger me to cry when I thought about something else. We got songs that give us, or sounds that give us memories and take us back to stuff. I hear a certain sound and it's the Empire commercial. Like you never really know. It's continuously happening, but he shouldn't do that because it'll open up something else.
And of course, that, like I said, we don't want to beat up on Kirk Franklin, and he's an established good artist. I just used him as an example.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your brother in the footwork, DJ Cornerstone, and you are listening to the Mike, DJ, and Doc Show.
Yeah, this is good. And, music is, it plays a great part in the culture of people. I mean, from musicians and music and things and instruments being mentioned in the book of Psalms. And then we know even in heaven, Lucifer was a great musician. So music has always been his choice of thing to utilize because the sounds, affect. The Super Bowl was a perfect example of what's leading our culture and the type of music. It was hip hop music. That's the biggest event in America. Is football, is America's sport. It was all hip hop artists. So that lets us know what's defining our culture, what's shaping our culture, what people are listening to, what's bringing people together. Because, it's all different races. It's one of the biggest events in the world. The halftime show, was full of a hip hop culture that was purposeful, so that's a defining moment. You have to pay attention to stuff like that. That lets you know, so it's very influential. And music and the things started within the church. There was a place in the Bible where a guy had an evil spirit and he called for David. His name was Saul. And he called for David to play the harp because music was considered to be therapeutic. Therapeutic had a therapeutic effect. It could resolve. You know what I'm saying? Or in the same way, it can intensify people and get people hyped up to go do wrong. In the same effect, it has an effect to resolve the anxieties within people. And way back in history, since Africans and African dancing, and you've had people that dance to do witchcraft and, and to cast spells on people. So, in certain cultures. So music has shaped all different types of people's cultures. Chicago, we've been talking about Chicago, but you go from state to state, city to city. There's something, that defines their culture. So
here in Houston, it's chopped and screwed.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah. And, in Louisiana, they got the Giddy dance where it looks just like a church dance.
Zydeco.
And so,
and bounce.
Yes. And so you got it on all different arenas. And I say, music, but at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, music, it plays its place. It's good to have the right music, even in church, when you come to church, to make sure it's invested in the right sound quality, the right sound system, making sure it's on key. Do you understand? Because people have an ear, ear to ear to make sure the music is on key, it's on point. So, because it plays a very, powerful role in culture, period. You know what I'm saying? So
it's funny you say that because it wasn't, I think it was maybe like 2 Sundays ago, maybe even 3. And Pastor Glenn said something that was very profound that stuck out. That he said, with everything that's happening now, there is spiritual warfare. There's different things that's out to get our people. So if you didn't get taken out by accidental death, or you didn't get taken out by your own hand, and no one took you out, the next place where they try to reach you is with the culture.
Yes.
And that's where the disconnect comes from, because it's happening. They're reaching people within the culture, with the music and the incessant need to have followers, and people see you do what you do, no matter how big or small it is. The devil is coming into that. No, not even coming to it, but it's there. If I can, if that makes sense. It's already there. And where it's having people fight within the culture, the music that tells them to do drugs and kill themselves, and a lot of the depressed rappers, they rapping their story, but they also speaking of the things that they do, and it's like instructions for people to follow in their footsteps. And the more I see, like, our people are constantly dying through suicide or accidental overdoses and things like that. So the culture is drawing people in where they're not really in the right mind to know what to choose.
Right. Yes. And that's good. Yes. And you say you in Texas. So that Astro World situation comes to my mind.
Right.
So
the whole set, like, I didn't go. I really don't do too much here in Houston, but stay in the house and, the groceries. Right. My child is homeschooled, so I'm really not I'd rather be back home in Chicago. But that Astro World situation, the way they set it up, when you look at the way that it was set up, it already looked like a place that nobody should have been. The entryway looked like a portal to hell.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. That looked like hell. Yes.
That was the first sign. Like, why am I walking? What am I about to go into? So that was the first sign. And then the
death walk.
Everything else just looked like hell from the back. Like, something, first of all, with the way that Texas is, that's a whole nother story. This state needs help in so many ways. But the common sense level is low here. And that a lot of people fall into that because this is what they listen to. I don't listen to the radio here because what the music is here is top 40, anything that's within the last 10 years or so, and the drill music and chopped and screwed. And they got country music, things like that. But for the urban area, this is what they listen to. And that the Astro World situation had a lot of people from everywhere. So it wasn't just our people, it was it was several different people there. So that shows, like you say, hip hop reaches the world. So it was the fact that there was just it just feels like there wasn't any care with that. It felt like it was a seance, like a lot of artists come up after they go through some tragic event. Something major happens, and that's what seems to happen, because I haven't really heard anything else about it afterwards, other than there were 10 to 11 people that passed away from that alone. But I haven't heard anything where it's really hurting him too much.
Right, correct, yes. And with you saying that, I believe, the culture of hip hop, I mean, of course, we know the influence of Hollywood. And if you study what Hollywood means and that tree and where that came from. And so as long as an artist is beneficial for the powers to be financially, they pretty much do what they want to do. They become untouchable. They become gods in this world. In this world. And the moment they become not a liability and no longer, let's use maybe R. Kelly, for example, where you can't no longer capitalize off his influence and power. Now we'll flip it and now we'll get rich on you another way by, demise, write books and everything. So that's how it's set up. It's set up to raise them up, to use them to influence the culture. And they can they'll make them rich and wealthy. But the minute they can't capitalize off of them, there'll be a day in time where Travis Scott, he'll have to deal with all 10 or 11 of the murders. May not right now because it's too much financial gain for the powers to be. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, it's like he can pack out stadiums. Them tickets was probably what, $100 to $200. I mean, it costs to go to a concert.
It costs,
Boy, hey.
Parents that took
they taxing them.
They they was taxing on that. And
yes.
And side
concessions
about with that, unrelated to music, Deshaun Watson.
Yes, correct. Yes. Same thing.
I really feel like that.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. You're untouchable as long as we're capitalizing off you. They cover anything you do. The moment they can't capitalize off you, the bottom falls out. And everything that you did or whatever, now you got to deal like, huh? And so, yeah, it's just, I mean, you just see it. It's, I'm a little wow.
Yeah. And this is why I choose to take the route that I'm going, because the fast route is the one that's going to give you any and everything that your heart desires when it comes to the world. But taking the route that I'm taking is more beneficial for my soul.
Definitely, yes.
And that's what separates artists from each other. What are you really doing it for? Are you doing it because you want to see the fame and the fortune and you want to see the false things of the world that's going to give you a temporary love at a moment, and then you still going to be looking for that after it's all over? Or do you want something that's long-lasting and beneficial?
That's it. And there it is.
Man, right on. Hey, so y'all, this is some good stuff here. But yo, don't lose them thoughts y'all got. Y'all got some good stuff in them beautiful brains of y'all. But we're gonna take another break and get back with the Mike, DJ, and Doc show.
This is Dr. William L. Sullivan Sr., better known as Doc, and we would like to thank you for listening to the Mike, DJ, and Doc show. And there it is.
All right, we're back. Hey, yo, sis, DJ QNeek. Before you go, I want to thank you for being our special guest on the Mike, DJ, and Doc show. And anytime, you family, so we're going to have you. we definitely going to have you back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but if you could you let our listeners know like what shows or projects you have coming up and where our audience can find you?
Sure. Well, I have my the Connection radio show plays every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. on the Chicago 77.3 internet radio app. You can find it on Google, Apple. We're on Roku and Alexa as well. You can find me on pretty much every social media as QNeek. And I've gone over to TikTok, so I'll be doing lives and stuff.
Yeah, I see you cutting up.
Thank you. That's the _Connection, CUENECTION. Like connection, but Connection. And the website is under the same thing, www.theconnection.com. Next week, Friday, I'll be DJing RP Boo's 50th birthday party at Smart Bar.
What?
And this will be my second time back at Smart Bar.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I'm gonna clap it up on that one. That's big.
thank you. Like, yeah, so I'm like excited. So that's pretty much what I got going right now. You know, a wedding in July, surprise appearance in August. So if you out in August and you're coming to a specific thing in August. I can't really speak about it, but I think you know what I'm talking about. I have to tell you later.
I know August is Footwork Appreciation Month, Fan Month. So I'm getting an idea.
August.
What'd you say?
Something big that happens in August. You know about
the Bud Billiken Parade?
No, I'm not. Can't tell you.
Okay. I'm gonna squeeze it out of you later, though.
I want to tell you, but I'm not gonna tell you here.
Yeah.
Everybody else listening, just be around in August.
Word. Well, cool. Hey, y'all, and thank you again, sis. But man, we want to transition to something else, a new segment of our show, where we got the wonderful, the intelligent, intellectual, the king, Doc William Sullivan, with the segment. There it is.
There it is. There it is. There it is. There it is.
Yes, well, there it is. What we want to do now is just summarize our show today on how music plays a part in steering our lives, how it influences the culture, the style, the tone, the expression, the emotion, the unification, retention, restoration, how just music has been very pivotal since the beginning of time, and how, we have to be mindful of the music and the sounds that our children are listened to. Many times a child 1 or 2 years old can sing a whole song, and can't say the ABCs, couldn't pronounce that word unless it was in that song. They can, as long as they singing it, they can get the word out. But in normal circumstance, they couldn't pronounce that word, couldn't read the word or nothing. But that lets you know how music, it moves, It'll have a child, a little baby sitting there rocking and moving around because it influences the sounds, the beats. That beat is powerful. That beat, that sound, and so music plays a very important role. And we just want to make sure that we are filtering and that we are not so disconnected as parents and grandparents and those that are raising our youth and children to not know what's going on. You need to know some of these artists. You need to listen to some of this stuff, and not only listen to the clean version. These radio stations, they starting to play it to where what the word is anyhow. It may be a bleep, but it's so clear of what was getting ready to be said. I'm like, wow. It's like, there's no limits. I mean, the B word is mentioned on regular daytime TV nowadays, and I mean, so it's like, wow, that's just, it's a different day and time we living in. So a lot of times there's not even a subliminal message. You can hear the message. You know what I'm saying? The message is just right there in your face. What I'm saying, this is it, So, hey, that's kind of where we at. But Mike, man, just looking forward to hearing from you now. And there it is.
All right. First of all, I just want to thank y'all for allowing me to be on the mic on this show. I think I can continue to do this because I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed the conversation with everything. But right now, what I want to let you know is please check out the Mike, DJ, and Doc show at www.micdjanddoc.com. Look for us on Facebook or Apple Music, or you can get us also on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. If you have any questions for Doc, DJ, or Mike, please go to MikeDJandDoc.com, and don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. New episodes released on the 7th and 21st of each month. Matthew 25 and 40, Good News Translation, the King will reply, I tell you, whenever you did this for one of the least important of these followers of mine, you did it for me. We leave you with this question. am I helping at least one person? The Mike, DJ, and Doc podcast is brought to you by Silver Cup Investments, recorded at Audio Hive Podcasting.